Welcome back to The Watch. Nathan, do you know much about the Thunderbolts?
Zero, nothing, null, nilch.
Okay. So I like the Thunderbolts. I'm one of the OG fans of the Thunderbolts.
Wow.
In actual fact, let me show you my introduction to the Thunderbolts. Big Spider-Man fan. I was always getting the Spider-Man comics, and there was a crossover, Spider-Man and the Thunderbolts, when the Thunderbolts were starting their first run. Mm-hmm. And so it's a cool story. And that like got my eye on the Thunderbolts, and I ended up getting the whole series, which I don't have anymore, and really enjoying it. And so the story of the Thunderbolts is that they're a group of villains, right? This is the OG comic version, right? That pose as heroes to try and get access to certain kind of behind-the-scenes national defense codes and everything, get trusted by the government, and then essentially launch a big evil conspiracy.
Right.
But during the time where they have to legitimately save people and pose as heroes to get the trust of the government, half of the people, the criminals, end up end up becoming good because they see the virtue in helping others, and they actually go through redemption arcs.
That's cool.
It's friggin' brilliant. I loved it. And then the Thunderbolts that turned up being good have to fight the bad Thunderbolts to stop the evil plot. It's friggin' great, right? And then after they stop the evil plot, Hawkeye comes in and ends up being their leader to train them to be actual real heroes, and they have another like really cool arc because the people that left away is still bad guys and stuff. And so that's what the Thunderbolts is. It's brilliant. Marvel is making a Thunderbolts movie, and it looks like it's nothing from the comics. It's just in name only Thunderbolts, with maybe some characters that were later Thunderbolts, but I could not see a single person from the original Thunderbolts cast in this Marvel adaptation. And they could have used one. So the leader is this guy with a sword right here. His name is Citizen V. His Baron helmet, Zemo. You know Zemo, the guy who was behind all the bad things in Civil War?
Yep.
That's him, right? And he's actually the leader of the Thunderbolts, and it's his evil plot from the beginning.
Gotcha.
They could have
Which also makes sense because, I mean, they've already got the MCU stuff set up, and that was a great movie too. People loved that.
Love Civil War. And they have Zemo there. He appears in Hawkeye and Winter Soldier and stuff. Still a usable character. They could have tried to work that plot in. I do not see Zemo part of the Thunderbolts. In fact, the Thunderbolts seems to be just crappy, morally grey. There's some villains here, some morally hero thing here, because what we see here with the Thunderbolts cast is Black Widow's sister, that then the Widow's father, who was the Russian soldier guy. We see Winter Soldier, Bucky Barnes, who is a hero now, like is no longer a villain. We see the Captain America guy that was supposed to be Captain America now is going to be like American Agent or something like that. That looks like Taskmaster. I thought Taskmaster died in the Black Widow film. But okay,
no, I think it's been so confusing recently because I feel like we saw them again in the Captain America, Falcon, Winter Soldier.
I can't remember.
Yeah, it's too fuzzy and blurry.
And then you have Ghost from one of the Ant-Man films. And like so many of these characters, yeah. I mean, the only one that actually was a half a decent character was the Captain America knockoff guy. And then Winter Soldier they ruined in...
I mean, even then, like the one that I see the most that I'm excited for is just seeing Bucky.
Yeah, like Bucky, like I said.
He had, like at the end of Endgame and stuff, he had this redemption arc of like, you can be the new Captain America, and then they never followed through with it, and Falcon instead. So like... Did you watch Falcon and Winter Soldier? We did watch it, yeah.
Okay, because they ruined him in that.
They ruined him. That was the sad thing, because I was like keen for him to be in Cap's place instead, and he was a good actor too, I thought. But yeah, everyone else, I kind of go, they're like C-grade heroes or villains. I
had so little interest in this because the fact that they're just ruining the Thunderbolts. So they had something. There was something that they could have worked really, really cool. But now there's some other information. So this is an article from Fandom Pulse. Fandom Pulse is a pretty cool website now. You can find a lot of kind of like recently released information that they get a hold of, and I don't know what involvement John has, if he even was. So John Del Rosa, I think he might have even started it himself with his retweet. And anyway, he's a good guy, John. And so Fandom Pulse, check him out. And here they say Florence Pugh's character, Pugh, Thunderbolts looks to be a troubled female lead Marvel MCU misadventure. And I didn't know that it was going to be the girl boss leader. You do what I say. knockoff Black Widow as the leader. And not to say this couldn't work in times past, but with the more recent examples of the girl boss leads, they don't have a good track record, do they, Nathan?
Yeah, well, here's my thing, actually. I think in terms of actual characters and the actresses that get to play with them, with the right writing and objectives, you could have some really cool superhero squads that were led by females.
You probably could, yeah.
Like, we've had some powerful ones in the past.
We've had some great ones in the past in the comics, but just take a look at how things are going in modern movies.
Like that's the thing. Like, I wouldn't trust anyone who's written on the Marvels or...
The Marvels or
Madam Web itself is like...
These two films are the big concerns, okay? Because what's annoying is that once upon a time, we didn't call them girl bosses. We called them just female action heroes, and guys loved them. Look at the original Tomb Raider movies, right? And there are so many examples. Like, why do you think Buffy was so popular? And of course, then you have the classics like Sarah Connor and Aliens. You have Xena, right? And even guys like the Princess of Power, the He-Man, She-Ra. Even guys like She-Ra, right? Because it was done fun, right? And so, yeah, people enjoyed them. And so this isn't about, oh, it's a woman people are checking out, because that's never been an issue. Like, I love Alita Battle Angel, one of the only recent examples of a female action hero character, was more recently done right, okay? The reason why people are checking out is because it's this girl boss bullcrap where they basically abandon most feminine characteristics. They act like guys, or they act like stuck-up, entitled know-it-alls that are just telling everyone how toxic or sexist or incorrect they are, because women have been mansplained to so much that it's time women get to mansplain back. And by the way, women have been mansplaining to men since the dawn of time, but we just didn't call it that. We called it nagging, okay? But guess what? Yeah, men explain things to women and women explain things to men. It's neither one side or the other, one doing it more than the other, one denigrating, not listening to the other. You think women haven't lectured men historically? The whole idea of mansplaining is so retarded, right? Anyway, needed to rant about that.
You got it out now?
Yeah, okay. But in the modern films, right, they all go out of their way to have the women lecture the men, to teach the men, right? And the men are portrayed as being idiots or toxic. They need to be taught, learn a lesson and all that stuff. And you see signs of it so much. And that is the criticism of the girl boss kind of archetype that is now being thrown on this. And that's the warning signs. When you hear that, oh, they're going out of their way. There was a male leader in the Thunderbolts originally, a really good one. It was Zemo, right? And it had a good story. And there are characters that are vastly more interesting than the knockoff Black Widow. You have Bucky Barnes there, right? If anyone he should be leading is the most experienced, the most badass, and most liked character. Now, if there was a female character that was more experienced and more liked and everything like it, then I'd be like, yeah, she should be leading, right?
Yeah.
But that's not the case here. They're making there's an obvious choice right there, and they're going out of their way to avoid the obvious choice that you know they're aware of because it's so obvious, and they're going with a vastly less interesting character.
I actually think they're doing this on purpose. Like, in terms of like girl bosses sucking, I think they actually want them to suck on purpose, because then they'll. There's a conspiracy theory I have.
Doesn't make sense either.
Because then you get mad about it, and then they can call you certain words and memes and stuff and say, look, he is a problem where before, if you actually made a good character, we wouldn't have any issue with this.
But I don't see how that could logically be there straight. Because when they do that, we say, you're full of crap. Here are all the other female action heroes we love. And then for the reasons
just gaslight you.
Yeah. They're absolutely
They're awful at,
But I think
debate.
I think they want to make money. And the reason why I think they make these girl boss characters is because they're writing themselves.
Yeah.
So many of the way that these awful characters behave seem completely in line with how these creators and writers behave. And the point of comparison to show this is the She-Hulk. We got to see a lot of that She-Hulk primary writer running her mouth, saying dumb things and acting like a real toxic, awful person. And it's like, she's almost exactly like the She-Hulk character in the thing. They write themselves, right? This is how they behave. They've been drunk on the cool. They've been drinking the Kool-Aid of the extremist feminist propaganda that you need to act like men and you don't need no man and men suck, toxic masculinity, drink male tears and all that stuff. And they're like, yeah, girl boss, I'm gonna do it. And that's how they act in their own lives. And then they write characters because they think they're awesome, they are wonderful, and therefore these characters they think are wonderful. When everyone else, just normal people, says, wow, she's a true female dog, like the character talking about.
She's unlikable, yeah.
Unlikable.
That's the thing with these heroes as well. Like, I feel like if we had a good, strong female character that was heroic, that listened to people, that obviously did things they need to do, but also didn't talk down to you or the characters or whatever, I'm okay with that. But the fact is, I've seen Wakanda Forever, and I've seen She-Hulk, and I've seen the Marvels, and I know how they're going to portray these characters.
And what's frustrating is, right, men and women are different, and they excel at different things. Like, there are natural inclinations that come to them that help them excel in different areas, right? And when people understand that, if you're having a female action hero, there are things that this character can do as a female much better than a man can do if they embrace and understand it. And it is the feminine nature. And that's why I love Alita Battle Angel so much. She has this gentle, nurturing, almost innocent kind of nature to her, which makes her fierceness even better. And she has this protective kind of mother bear instinct to protect the people she cares about, which just lifts the character and makes her stronger, right? And so women absolutely have a natural strength that can work brilliant with an actual female action hero archetype. But that's offensive to feminists. Feminists don't like femininity. They actually don't like women. They want women to act like men, to discard all these natural, nurturing, gentle instincts that can absolutely be employed in great ways with a hero female character and just make them act like men. And one of the worst, and when I say worst, best examples of how they do this bad, it's a movie called The Princess. We have a review here on Night's Watch where they stripped every single feminine character trait of this character, and this character was a male, it was a man, or it was a man in everything but appearance, basically, because that's what they do. I will reiterate this again. It's a loss because there are action heroes that can be female, that can be written in such a way that are so interesting and different to traditional action male heroes that we're barely getting any of that now. And you think about some of the great ones, like I think even Wonder Woman had that sense, like the movie Wonder Woman, where she had a feminine kind of gentleness, where she cared about people and wanted to help people, and it felt like it was coming out of this sense of feminine gentleness and nurturing and stuff, right? And that worked for the character. That would work good for the character. And when I think about classic, female heroes and stuff like that, like classic Supergirl and stuff, She-Ra, and then you have Alita Battle Angel and things, and then Buffy as well, they have a feminine nature which complements the character, even in the action-oriented aspects to it. It's all gone. And guess what we saw all of that? Black Widow. Black Widow is just acting like boys, all tough and bossy and crap. And that's the character that they want to lead the Thunderbolts here. And so when it's reported that she is the leader now, it's just like, groan. And so Fanapol says this. They have decided to bring on a showrunner from the FX series The Bear to polish the script, and it's raised eyebrows. Okay, Marvel Studios, it seems, is sparing no expense to pander to their diversity, equity, inclusion requirements. The delays, script changes, and diversity, equity, inclusion showrunner joining the Thunderbolts team all points to potential trouble. What's more worrisome is the speculation surrounding the Thunderbolts film's lead, Florence Pugh. So she's the lead of the film now, and it's like, she's a good actor, I think but like the character, that's the issue. It's like, I did not like her in Black Widow. Black Widow was an awful film, by the way. Did you watch that?
I haven't watched it.
Oh, you lucky man!
I wasn't interested in it. If I didn't have to watch it for work, I wouldn't have watched it.
Okay, so confirm the involvement, and Pugh's Yelena is set to lead the Thunderbolts, the team of MCU villains who, in the comic books, was led by the formidable Thaddeus Thunderbolt Ross. That's a different arc in the Thunderbolts. Thaddeus leads the Thunderbolts. The original leader was Zemo. And it was a good story. And so instead, they have Yelena, the knockoff Black Widow that was just moody and awful. That's who it is.
I don't know what to say aside from like Have they learned nothing from their previous couple of movies?
No, they haven't. Like we said this, like even when the Marvels came out and Madam Web, right? They're not going to learn, especially Disney. They're not going to learn from this. They say like, oh, we're going to focus on cause. Like, no. The Iger, the main guy at Disney, he is a massive activist. He even went so far to say, we're going to move away from politics, but basically continue everything that we've been doing the same, because it's not actually politics. It's just doing the right thing. Putting in propaganda to try in children's cartoon about gender ideology and stuff like that, right? That it should be off the radar for kids, right? Injecting that into children's media is just doing the right thing. Taking away the rights the parents have to choose when to introduce these more mature themes about sexual identity and gender identity to their children. That's just Disney taking that right away from parents. It's just Disney doing the right thing. And that he has the gall to say it. And he said, we're going to keep doing the right thing.
Well, he just twists his own words around saying, we're going to stop doing this, but I keep doing it.
Yeah, exactly. Like, full-blown activist. They're not going to change at all. And that means they're just going to keep losing money. And we will keep laughing at them.
I guess the question is now just how much money do they have left to lose? Like, how long can they last until someone else has to buy them out and start this all again?
Thunderbolts is going to bomb massively. The only hope this property had was if they were to pull off like a Guardians of the Galaxy, where they made a film so good with characters so likable that word of mouth lifted it. But even Guardians of the Galaxy was benefiting off of the MCU popularity, right? That's all gone. And now they're doing a movie about a group of, a series of property that barely anyone knows of. Did you even hear of the Thunderbolts before? I'm one of the few.
And even then on the post is not going to have, Bucky or any of the other characters you've seen. We're going to see...
Like, all these characters basically are pointless side characters that no one cares about except Bucky Barnes. Bucky, Winter Soldier...
And even then, Bucky's a side character.
He's a side character, exactly. But, I reckon there's going to be people seeing this like, who is that guy? Why is Captain America here? Why is he wearing something different? They would not have watched Falcon Winter Soldier to know who he is, right? Barely anyone watched these crappy shows. And Black Widow also bombed. And, the Ghost character. Who gave a crap about that Ghost weird villain character in the Ant-Man movie?
I have no memory of the Ghost character. Oh, wait, that was the one that could go through...
Yes. There it is.
She wasn't very...
Isn't she lame? You didn't even render her.
Yeah. It's just a movie destined to fail. And the sad thing is, we are getting this instead of anything else.
They could have made anything else.
People want Captain America, we want Spider-Man, we want Iron Man, we want Thor, we want all these other properties. And even then there's more expansive stuff. Fantastic Four, we know they're going to make eventually. It's going to be... But if this is all they're giving us now, it's well, obviously there's no other creative ideas left for them. They're bankrupt.
They are. They're scraping the bottom of the barrel, and it's just fine. You're not going to learn. We know this, Disney Marvel. Keep doing what you're doing. Dig your own grave, and you get what you deserve. And we'll be here to watch, because that's what we do. And stay on watch.